Play Your Role is a proud affiliate of Only Crits Dice. Check the link in the description for beautiful and high-quality hard-edge and metal dice, as well as other tabletop products. Charismatic characters are really not easy to play, and there's a lot of different reasons for that. But the main one is, if you're not charismatic, bringing that charisma to the table can be damn near impossible. And I've seen a lot of people talk about how to do this. I've seen a lot of people give a lot of discourse. However, I do think I have a unique take on how to play a charismatic character. Now, I will be totally honest and pat myself a little bit on the back. I do think that I am a somewhat charismatic person. I mean, I have to be at least a little bit to be able to have this channel and have you guys continue to watch me, right?
He's very full of himself, I must say.
At least I really hope so. I really hope that you guys think I'm charismatic. If not, I am very surprised that you guys are still watching, but thank you nonetheless. That being said, I do know how to bring a little bit of charisma into the characters that I play. But if you don't have that naturally, it can be really hard, but you still do want to be able to play that. And it's very similar to the issue that I had earlier in one of my videos where I talked about how to play a high intelligence character. It just doesn't necessarily work so well if you don't have that actual charisma to bring forward. But there is a way to do it, and I think I have a unique way that may actually be able to help you all out. So let's talk about that. So, charismatic characters. Let's put yourself in a situation. Say you're playing a bard and you are in a giant dining room. You are having this amazing ball and you're talking to all these political individuals and you want to go talk to one specifically and be able to convince them that you are trustworthy. You go up to talk to them and what do you say? I mean, obviously it's not going to work with the story and it's not going to be interesting if you just walk up and then it works because you're charismatic. It's way more interesting to actually have some discourse with this character, some conversation. And it makes it feel less cheap because if you could just walk up and get anybody to trust you, well, two things start to happen. One, it becomes boring, and two, if the DM just decides arbitrarily that it doesn't work, there's nothing you can do about it. It's just not entertaining or engaging. But you're not a charismatic character. You can't just walk up to them and say, well, let me talk about this and let me discuss the different things that we've done in the political climate that's currently going on. And while I'm doing this, let me try and suss out the different things that you care about so I can start to play into your interests. If you don't know how to do that, you can't do it. It's not as simple as rolling a dice and picking up a giant rock.
What did I do?
Finish him. Finish him! Your way!
Oh, good. My way. Thank you, Nzedi. Which was my way?
Pick up one of those rocks, get behind the boulder. In a few minutes, the man in black will come running around the bend. The minute his head is in view, hit it with the rock!
My way is not a sportsman.
And a lot of people make this argument all the time. You'll hear them say, well, you don't have to lift an actual rock to lift a rock in D&D, so why should you have to roll for charisma? Which, like, I get it. That makes perfect sense. But if you just roll for charisma and things just happen, that's also not as entertaining. It becomes a little bit more boring.
This is... What? This is boring.
When a high-strength character lifts a rock, the actual act of lifting the rock wasn't the entertaining thing. It was being able to see the number on the dice and seeing how strong this individual is. When you do this for charisma, it's a little less entertaining because you're not lifting a giant rock and you're all imagining that. We're just imagining you talking. And the human brain inherently can't just necessarily imagine this in-depth conversation as much as we can imagine lifting a rock. And so that's why usually DMs require people to talk in order to get that charisma. And it becomes, well, difficult for people to play charismatic characters, and if you just rely on a roll, it becomes boring. So what do? Personally, in my games, I will let people talk as much as they want to talk. And a lot of times, I won't require them to roll. If they can talk and be charismatic and make a conversation that makes sense, I'll just roll with it.
I'd like to walk to the Laughing Lamia and knock the doors open and as loud as I can go, listen up! I want to know if anyone has seen any Goliaths wandering around these parts. Aside from me.
Do you wish to do this via conversational persuasion or through intimidation?
Only with dwarves.
Only with dwarves. Yeah, well, maybe there's some dwarves hanging around.
There might be some dwarves.
Yeah,
so, how you doing?
Okay.
Okay, make persuasion roll.
I got a 4.
Oh.
With the belt.
All right, so as you burst in and shout this to the group, everyone kind of stops and turns and looks. And then goes right back to drinking and their conversation. There appears to be no immediate reaction.
Can I jump up? I jump up on a table and I say, listen, you motherfuckers! My friend just asked you a fucking question. Now fucking answer him, or I'm gonna kill every last motherfucker one of you.
I'd listen to him. He means it.
Intimidation.
Yeah! Is this a 20?
Come on, Scan. Yeah, please be
I
good. Come on,
rolled.
Scan.
That would be a 30.
until something problematic comes up, like they say something they shouldn't have, or they're trying to lie about something, well, I generally have them make a roll.
I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said that. I shouldn't have said that.
But if they're talking enough and it's convincing enough of a lie, I'll just let the roll slide. But what if you are playing a charismatic character, but you're not charismatic, and you want to be able to do that same thing? Here's what I do. I ask you what you're going to say. You do not have to tell me specifics. You do not have to give me this long-winded speech. I just say, what is it you're trying to do? What's the accomplishing goal, and how are you going about it? One of my players in particular really likes playing charismatic characters, but she doesn't feel confident actually having that speech pattern. And that's fine. So a lot of times she'll just say, I want to talk to this person and I want to get them to trust me. And I'll say, okay, how do you want them to start trusting you? What are you saying? And she'll give me a general description. I want to talk about their home life. I want to see if I can generally get to understand who they are. I want to see if we have any similarities. Awesome. I won't actually have her make a charisma check there. I'll have her roll an insight check to see if she can get that information, and then I will have her roll a charisma check with advantage, or I'll give her a bonus to it. But she doesn't have to specifically speak to me, but she does have to let me know how the conversation is going, what it is that she's doing. And usually most players, even the newest ones who are the most shy, will start to pick up on this. If they come up and they say, okay, I want to see if I can learn this information, I have them make a roll and they get it, they'll start talking in character because they now have that information and they feel more confident about it. I've seen it happen a lot, and it's actually pretty fun to watch. So when you're a charismatic character, but you don't have the roles for it, you have to just ask questions and give a general understanding what it is you're attempting to do. It's not fun to just say, I want to do something, we roll a dice and we move forward.
Mousetrap.
Huh?
I wanted to play Mousetrap. You roll your dice, you move your mice. Nobody gets hurt.
That doesn't create an interesting story in our minds. So give our minds something to work with. We don't have to see you give this full speech. We don't have to see you become this incredibly charismatic individual. All we need to do is have enough to see the story in our head so it makes sense and is fun for everybody at the table. Just give a general description. You can even talk about the different ways that you are approaching an individual. I would like to approach them shyly, cautiously, as if I am a reserved individual. Or I would like to approach them with bombastic gestures, and I want to talk to them about the current political climate and see if I can get them to trust me because I align with their political beliefs. That's fine. That gives me an idea of who your character is, but a simple dice roll usually won't. So if you can do that, you should be able to play a relatively entertaining, charismatic bastard at your table. So go out into the world, make it your own, you beautiful bastards. Don't forget to have a great day, and never forget to play a role. Thank you. Come again.